Thank you for watching the Finance and Affirmations podcast. I appreciate you being here. Make sure you click the subscribe button so you'll be alerted when I post new content. Enjoy the episode. Hello, Finance and Affirmations family. One of the things that I wanted to talk about today is what to do if you get denied for a checking or a savings account. One of the things that I have been stressing definitely over this last year is that we want our money to work for us, right? And so our regular savings accounts pay us less than 1%, 0.01. There are accounts out there that will pay you 4% or more. So I would suggest that you go and try to see if you can get one of those accounts. I was helping one of my clients and they got denied for the account. And so it reminded me, you know what? I have not talked about this in a very long time. And so I just wanted to give you some reminders. Okay. So here are a few steps that you should follow if you are denied for a checking or a savings account. All right. When you go to open a new account, those companies look at a consumer's report. Just like when you go to apply for a mortgage or a car or a credit card, they look at your credit report. The bank may use a consumer reporting agency like check systems or the early warning services to pull your checking and saving account history. You can think of these companies the same way you think of the credit agencies, right? And so what they're doing is they show a history of your activity in your checking and your savings account. Now, don't worry, it doesn't have an effect on your credit report at all, but it's just a way for those consumer companies to look and see your activity on those accounts. So opening a bank account is easier than applying for a credit card, but sometimes you can still be denied, okay? And it's typically because there's something negative on that check systems or that early warning services consumer report, okay? Or maybe you just applied for too many checking and savings accounts in a short amount of time. That can also negatively impact you with those two systems. Now, it doesn't mean all hope is lost. There are a few things you can do to increase your chances if you have been denied for a checking or savings account, okay? So here are a few things that you can do if you are denied. The first thing you can do is to ask the bank to reconsider. Sometimes the bank will reconsider, especially if you are an existing customer, okay? Though they use the information from those reporting agencies, it is ultimately up to the bank to whether they're going to decide whether a client or a customer gets approved or denied, okay? So go back to them and ask them to reconsider. And keep in mind that federal law requires banks or credit unions to tell you why you were denied for a bank account so that you can get that information, okay? The second thing you can do is to get a copy of the report. You know, like every year, you can go to annualcreditreport.com and get a copy of your credit report. You can do the same thing with your consumer report, okay? So you can access a free copy of your check systems report every 12 months, as well as whenever you get denied for a bank account for some reason, especially if it's because of the report, okay? So to get your check systems report, you can go to their website, or you can call 1-800-428-9623. And then if you want to have access to early warning services, you can visit their website as well. I will make sure that information is in the show notes for you. The third thing that you can do is to check your report for errors. Remember, just like with your credit report, sometimes there are errors on those reports, right? The same thing for check systems, right? And for early warning services. Sometimes there's discrepancies on the report. Sometimes you may have been the victim of fraud. And so there's some things out there that you never did. You may find errors, so make sure you gather any supporting documents before disputing it with them so that you can give it to that reporting agency to prove that it's not yours, okay? And then you can clean up your report, right? So if you find, oh, yep, this is mine. I did have that old overdraft and I never paid for it. Once you've reviewed the report, you can see if there are any errors, but if you review it and there are no errors, then start fixing any negative actions you see. For example, immediately pay off any unsettled fees and inquire about having the negative action removed from your report once you've paid it off. Otherwise, the negative entries can remain on your report up to 5 years. So you could have already paid it off, but for whatever reason, they weren't quick enough and they forgot about it and didn't remove it. The same thing happens on regular credit reports, right? So if they didn't remove it and it should be removed, that can stay on your report for up to 5 years. Okay, so you want to check into that. And then what you can do is if it is accurate, it's something that you did do, just like with your credit, it takes some time, right, for you to rebuild your credit. Well, in this case, you can look into getting a second chance account. When you get denied for a checking or a savings account, there is a way you can improve your chances for the future, and it's called a second chance account. Banks offer these accounts that don't look at check systems or don't look at negative credit activities. So I would think of that as, you know, how sometimes when you're trying to build your credit, you get a secured credit card. Think about this that way. It's like a second chance account. They're not looking at all of that other stuff, and they may allow you to get one of the accounts. But just like when getting a secured credit card, you want to definitely check all the rules and regulations. Sometimes there's fees, sometimes there's requirements, minimum balances, that kind of thing. So you definitely want to check into that to see if that's going to affect you. So I just wanted to leave that with you today. I hope that was some helpful information. See you next time. Bye. I hope you enjoyed watching the Finance and Affirmations podcast. If you haven't already done so, click the subscribe button. Until next time, blessings.